Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications.
Look, there's no such thing as a routine traffic stop if you are a black man. Going through your mind is a fear that you will be beaten or tased or even shot. Thanks to newly released body cam footage, we can see this all play out for teenager Tae-Ahn Lea and his mother in Louisville, Kentucky last summer. He was pulled over for an improper right turn. The body cam footage of nearly 18 minutes long, we have edited down to 6 minutes, but even at that length, you will get the picture of what happened. Let's go to the video.
You know what I'm stopping you for? Man, when you turned on here onto Dixie, or 18th Street, you turned in the far left lane, you're supposed to turn in the right lane. See how there's 2 lanes? That's the reason why, man. Are there any weapons in your car? No drugs? Awesome, man. Do you have your ID? No, you ain't got any guns, right? You good, man? That's cool, man. Do me a favor, put your hands on the steering wheel. Yeah, man, do me a favor, grab your phone and your wallet, stick it on the seat.
Why?
Because I'm telling you, or it's going to fall out when you get out of the vehicle.
Why are you taking me out the vehicle?
I'll move it up here for you.
Mama, they taking me out the vehicle.
Don't hop out?
Get out of the car. They telling me to get out the car now.
And that's the reason why I didn't want anything on you. I don't want to break your phone, brother.
Right.
You don't have any weapons on you, do you?
I don't.
No drugs?
Nope.
Awesome, man. Turn around, put your hands on the car for me. Switch feet.
I even did anything. Why are you checking me for?
I didn't say you did anything. So you don't have any...
Why did you take me out the car?
Do you have any drugs, weapons on you?
I don't. I told you that when you asked me the first time. I do mine.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm going to make sure you don't have any weapons, okay?
No.
Yeah. We're allowed to pat you down.
Take a step off the vehicle, please.
Why would they pat me down?
So you say I can't search. So can I search your car?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, unfortunately, you did a traffic violation right in front of us. Just do me a favor, hang tight. I'm going to talk to my canine partner, okay?
Quit doing the clenching your fist thing, too.
Dude, that's some bullshit, man.
What's bullcrap?
Fucking only day I got off, I just want to go home.
We're allowed to get people out of the car. Your heart is beating through your chest when you're on the phone with your mama, and you're narrating to your mom, "Mom, I stopped by the police. This is where I'm at. They're getting me out of the car. Oh my gosh."
Yeah.
When you do all that, it's the same thing that people do when they're trying to hide something from the police and they're trying to take the situation off of it. Just like you're looking back at my partner over and over and over again, like you're waiting for him to see something or for him to do something wrong. It's 2018, young man. We all wear body cameras. It's recording all of it. It records your audio, my audio. It records all that. So guess what happens? If there was something in that vehicle and we go to trial over it, guess what? The jury gets your attitude. Okay? So bring it down. There's no point in it. We're here for you, man. Put your hands on your back real quick. Put your hands on your back. I'm not going to have you run like that. There's the dog indicated on your vehicle. I don't know what's in your car, but like I said, I don't want you to run. So you're still just being detained. You're not free to go, but you're not under arrest at this time. I just don't want you to go anywhere, okay? But I'm not going to fight you, and I'm certainly not going to chase you. I had to chase some guy last night, and I haven't recovered from it, so I'm not chasing you today, okay?
I'm the detective that pulled him over. Yeah. Okay. So basically, he committed a traffic violation right in front of me.
What did he do?
He conducted an improper turn on the 18th Street.
I was on the phone with him the whole way.
Okay.
He said you were following him the whole way. Okay. There was no improper turn.
Okay. Well,
and he didn't give you.
Luckily enough for you, ma'am. Luckily enough for you, everything was captured on body camera. Okay.
No, luckily enough for you.
Oh, really?
But
okay.
He didn't give you permission.
Okay.
To search
We
the
don't
car.
need his permission,
Yes,
ma'am.
you do.
We had a positive indication by the canine. Okay.
Oh my God.
So, ma'am, you guys are more than welcome to watch, videotape, whatever. Just do me a favor, give us some room and stay over here, please. Ma'am, please stay over here. You're trespassing on private property right now.
It's for sale.
Ma'am, stay over there, please. If you approach my traffic stop, I will take you. Ma'am, if you approch my traffic stop, I will take you to jail.
I
don't
care.
care. I do not care.
I don't care either.
You know what? Okay, great.
You ever been in trouble before? Anything as a juvenile at all? Okay.
My mom's fucking private investigator. Fucking ain't never did shit.
I appreciate y'all being out here for violent crimes. My son's not violent, nothing. You run his name, he's never been in JCYC, nothing. He got a job.
No one said he was a violent crime.
No
one said he
to
was.
be out the car handcuffed right now.
Can you tell me how to pick out violent crimes? Can you tell me how?
I don't need to tell you how because They can run across the street too fast and then say it's violent. It don't matter at this point. It's your own discretion.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. The reason why you took him out of that car is because you're doing some violent trafficking.
Why do you have, if you don't mind me asking, why do you have like this negative view towards the police? What's the deal? What's ever happened in your life personally where you're like, you can give me a good explanation?
Absolutely nothing.
Really?
Fucking graduated. I got a good ass job.
Right.
I graduated with 3 full-ride band scholarships. I never did shit in my life. I've been in the house all day.
So what's the problem? Like, why are we in this situation?
You?
Huh?
What you mean?
We didn't do it.
Pull me over?
We made a traffic stop for your violation that you did.
All right, man. I don't want to talk.
And then you went up here with it. Huh? You did the entire time. I just figured I'd try to understand it, but that's fine.
I'll never understand.
Huh? I'll never understand? If I take you out of these handcuffs while he's finishing up, are you going to fight me or run or anything like that? Because initially when we brought you to the back of the car, you're clenching up your fists like you're going to fight or punch or run or whatever. And you've been doing this pacing back and forth thing the entire time. I'll go ahead and take you out of cuffs, but I don't want you to like take off, run into your car, or fight me. Is that cool? I know you're mad. It is what it is, but I'll take you out of them since they're a little uncomfortable. Is that cool? Huh?
You're gonna take me out of them, man.
Is it cool? You gonna be chill?
Yeah, I'm gonna be chill.
All right.
The young man had no criminal record, no drugs or weapons were found. The ticket was dismissed when neither of the officers who wrote it even bothered to show up to court. So it was all for nothing. Joining us now is Sadiq Reynolds, President and CEO of the Louisville Urban League. Sadiq, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you. It's Sadiqwa, actually.
Sadiqwa, sorry about that.
That's okay.
So in this video, we see a perfect example of profiling, because if people notice it's a Dodge Charger and you practice criminal defense, you know that a young black man in a Dodge Charger is going to get pulled over. So how is the community reacting to this?
The community is pretty upset, actually, and it's more than just being in a Dodge Charger. The frustration for a lot of community members, myself included, is the location. We know that someone on another part of town would not have been treated in the way that this young man was, and we're very concerned. It's not the first case. I think, this is a city that's really trying hard to be more inclusive, to make strides around diversity and inclusion, and this is just another black mark. And so we have got to work hard. Our police department really does have to do a better job.
And what are city leaders saying about this? Has there been any efforts to retrain, reform, anything being put in place to stop this from happening in the future?
I don't have an answer for that. Certainly, community members are pushing for some additional training. If this is, in fact, policy, if you think about the dogs in the 60s and what that feels like to have this young man waiting on the side of the road until they can get the dogs. And that's where I think they run into a legality issue, right? So they have the right to pull him over. That's fine. They pulled him over. They said he made a wide right. But there's no indication, there's no reason for us to believe that they have a reason to keep him held there until they can bring those dogs in. It just doesn't make sense. And this is not the first time this has happened. We actually, as you know, I'm the president of the Louisville Urban League, and one of our board members happens to be the chief circuit judge. And there was an opinion from a 2016 case that says you cannot do this. You can't hold somebody on the side of the road, waiting for the dogs to come. There's no probable cause for that.
So what's the advice for young people, particularly for young African-American males, when they are interacting with police? Because in this case, this young man did everything that we tell them they're supposed to do. You keep both hands on the steering wheel, you don't make any sudden movements, you answer respectively, and he still found himself in handcuffs on the side of the road. So what advice can we give this young generation in interactions with police?
I think we have to continue to tell them to do what he did. You know, keep your hands in sight, follow instructions. I understand that he used some foul language, and some people may be upset about that, but I think he really was very composed. The sad part for us as adults is I don't know what we tell our children. I mean, that is the scary part. I don't know how we protect ourselves. What do we do? Because even when we are following the law, we're at risk. And so, you know, I've really been frustrated with thinking about what it would be like to be the mother on the side of the road there and having to watch this happen with your child. I mean, a mother's charge is to protect and to not be in a position to be able to do that. And your child is doing everything you said do, and it's not good enough. I mean, because the condescending conversation, the poking, the provocation, the asking about the juvenile record, you know, all of those things. All we can do is tell our children to comply, do what he did. Call your mom, call somebody when you're getting pulled over, and it still may not work, baby. You know, I guess it worked in a way. He's alive.
Well, and that's a great point that you bring up about him being alive, because I think the body cameras are probably what kept that boy alive and from getting into even more trouble. When did body cameras become mandatory in Louisville, and what can we do to kind of push that in other areas?
I think we've been using body cameras here for at least 2 years, maybe 2 or 3 years. I'm not sure exactly how long it's been. And what's interesting to me about the body cameras is it seemed as though those officers really thought they were very aware of the cameras, very aware that they were being recorded. And I think they felt very good about their interaction, which I think speaks volumes about the difference in how community feels they should be interacting with police versus how police feel they should be interacting with the community. Body cameras are a good thing, but I also think this country is going to have to be responsive when we see these sort of negative interactions, when we see, you know, this wasn't a shooting, thank God, but we've seen plenty of that, and it's all caught on tape. And so we've got to really make some decisions about how it is that we progress as a country, and certainly Louisville has to make some decisions about what we do moving forward as a city.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the work you're doing in the community, Ms. Reynolds. And I think it's important to use this as a teaching moment for other police and other jurisdictions to analyze how they interact with young African Americans in this issue of racial profiling. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, I want to hop back over to the panel. Ameesha, you work intimately with criminal justice reform. Now, I know police officers and police unions who will say they saw nothing wrong with what officers did there. How can we break that divide where officers think that's a completely fine interaction, but we know as a community that chilling that effect that can have on our young people, not just now, but potentially for the rest of that young man's life and for the lives of others?
There has to be more training and understanding amongst the police officers themselves as to how they are viewed in the community. I think that from working on both sides of this, with the community as well as with the police officers, there is a huge disconnect among officers themselves about their actions. And I don't mean just in terms of police brutality. I mean in terms of their presence, in terms of the way that they speak to young black males, in terms of them automatically viewing them as being guilty of something or having the potential to be violent, even if there is no presence of violence available, just because of the community that they come from or because of the beat that they are actually charged to protect. It's a problem because you often see that these two groups don't necessarily speak to each other. And in the cases that they do, there is automatic blaming. And on the police side of things, it is, well, this many people got shot on this block within a certain length of time, so they feel as though they have to be extremely protective of themselves, even though in many cases they're talking to 13 and 14-year-old kids who are just being kids. And I think that the more that we have those honest communications amongst the two groups, and we also bring the parents in, we also coordinate with the schools, because there has to be a strong recognition that these police are doing the same things in our schools, that we're going to see some resolution to it. But right now, we're just not having as many of those conversations as we should be having, and the ones that we're having aren't necessarily coming out with any concrete resolutions.
Janice, you've talked about the overcriminalization of young black males for as long as I've known you. And as I was mentioning earlier, the only time I've ever had a gun put in my head was by a Chicago police officer. I was actually coming back from the law library, took the bus down to Lake Shore and 47th, was walking down at about 12 o'clock at night. It was about maybe 5 degrees, so I had a hoodie on, and next thing you know, I'm on the hood of a Chicago police car with a gun to my head. They searched me and then just sent me about my merry way, and that was it. And so many young men have this interaction. And if you're not in law school, if you're just some dude getting off work, going back home, maybe you don't have that same interaction. Or if you have, a small amount of marijuana on you, the same thing people are making millions of dollars for now, you end up spending the night in the Cook County Jail. How do we fix these structural issues of inequity in the criminal justice system?
You put your finger, I think, on the right issue, and that is the structure of things. For example, what difference would it make if individual police officers had to carry liability insurance and didn't have the mantle of respondeat superior or sovereign immunity to protect them? What if, rather than thinking about training, because I'm not sure this is an issue of training, with all due respect. I know we hear that a lot. I think we need to do a better job of screening. There are some people who don't have the temperament or the point of view to be good police officers. They make prejudgments. They've got certain kind of prejudgments about people that makes it impossible for them to be objective. In that video, you could look and see the officer was baiting. He wanted the young man to overreact. The handcuffing was an invitation to overreact rather than de-escalating the situation. You can't train that out of somebody whose attitude is that. So I think on the front end, we need to pay them better. We need to require more of them. They need to carry personal liability insurance so that they have to know that if this happens on your beat and you're not able to comply, then you're going to pay a personal price and not just a price from the law enforcement agency that you work for. But it is a terrible, terrible problem.
And Michael, on this point, it seems like there has to be a legislative initiative on this. That often this happens in cities where we have elected officials that depend on our community to get elected, but are very recalcitrant when it comes to actually putting policies in place out of fear of the police union. We saw with Kim Foxx earlier, fear of being criticized and drugged through the mud in the media. How can we get our politicians to take this issue as seriously as any other issue?
Well, first of all, I co-sign with everything that the previous guest said. I think she said it eloquently and perfectly. I also want to commend the young man because with a parent with sons, that's exactly what I taught him, and he did exactly what you're supposed to do. And it still didn't quite work out, except for, as she mentioned, he's alive. So it worked out. Cameras certainly are helpful, but we've also seen cameras and videos that are rolling when bad things happen. So that's not always it helps. Certainly in this case it did. It's a great deterrent. Legislatively, the reason it's difficult, yes, police union, as you mentioned, is part of it. But it's also part of it as cities now are are gentrifying. And you have this clash between kind of the new, in most cities you have kind of old white communities with money. Now you have cities where kind of young millennials are moving in and forcing African-American families out. And so you have this clash. So legislatively, yeah, it's not just the police union, it's also people that want to have a safe city. And if that means somebody has to be inconvenienced, they have to be inconvenienced. That's the thought of some people. So legislatively, it's extremely difficult. Same with police shootings. Roland and I have talked about it a million times. They're going to continue to happen, but the standard in a courtroom is so different for a police officer. All he or she has to say is, I felt in danger and I'm justified, and they walk out of the courtroom. So there's several different steps, very difficult to tackle.
All right, well, we're talking about a Green New Deal and abolishing the Electoral College and all these other big-minded ideas, reparations and universal basic income. I think we should hold all of our people running in 2020 to the standard of, what are you going to do about black folks getting shot? How about we start with that as your initial call to the black community?
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Calling all HBCU alumni, including me, Clark Atlanta University, students and leaders enter the Ford Motor Company HBC-You Mobility Challenge and win $25,000 for your school. Building on their long-term support of HBCUs, Ford is looking to improve mobility in HBCU communities through innovative solutions. The winning program will receive a grant of up to $25,000 to implement their proposal. The deadline to apply has been extended to April 15, 2019. Go to FGB.Life for more information and to apply. Ford goes further in our community.
Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.